The beat. The beat. Ba-ba. The beat. The beat. Ba-ba. The beat. The beat. Ba-ba. The beat. Welcome to the beat. Kids on the street, kids on the beat, beat kids, beat kids. I thought about that when watching this movie.
That's like, oh my god. Well, yeah.
Made me want to go back and watch Wonder Chosen.
Oh my god, I'll have to talk to you about. Speaking of watching stuff, I don't know why I thought that was a good segue, because like that's all we talk about is what we've been watching.
Well, no. Not really. I mean, we had a pretty in-depth conversation with Brandon last time, so.
Oh, I know. It's well, whatever. Anyway, welcome to episode 11 of the Unrealistic Elephant Podcast. My name is Nathan, Lami Laki Sama.
And I am Blinky from The Beat.
Yes. You saw him in the back. You were part of The Beat, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was on the beat.
You were on the beat.
The beat, and the beat.
In the beat, on the beat, with the beat. You were a beggar and a priestess and a princess, and it all made a lot of sense, especially by the end.
Yeah.
Let's maybe not get into that right away. But,
okay.
But yeah. Things have been pretty good for us. Or at least it's been pretty good for me. How have things been for you this last month, Ian?
I don't know. I could say absolutely horrible, but that'd be a lie. So I guess they've been pretty good.
That would be wild.
I wanted to be different.
Like, imagine if I like people talk all the time about like, if people tell me how to have a good day, I have to be like, I will have a good day, or whatever the fuck. It's like, why can't you just tell someone you're having a fucking horrible day, and then people are like, oh my god, why? And it's like, nah, I was just fucking with you. I actually have a wonderful day. I have a loving family that cares about me. Like,
yeah, but I mean, well, that's the thing too, is that like, because I'm kind of like looking into going into mental health work right now.
Oh, yeah.
And so much of it is just like, you actually have to ask the questions that would be normal conversation starters, but they actually mean something deeper than just like, hey, how's it going? You know, it could actually be going very, very badly. And, you know, people should be ready and willing and prepared for that.
Yeah, no, you could drop that on me.
But most people don't want that answer.
Yeah, no, most people don't want the answer of that actual question. They just want to hear that you're okay. Because if you dropped all that information on someone all at once, it would be catastrophic. That would be a day ruiner. If someone dropped all of that on me when I asked them how their day was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you'd be as like ignorant as the people who wrote the beat were about mental health.
Listen, he's different.
Anyway, I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm actually quite excited to talk about the beat. He's a special kid.
Me too.
Anyway, so.
But before we do that, I think you had something for me.
Yeah, I had a little something. As I said, we are trying to branch out. I said that a couple of episodes ago. But yeah, I've said that we want to branch out and do a couple more things. So I came up with a little game that I wanted to play before we get into the movie discussion. And it might be a way to sort of go through a couple of quick things that maybe we wouldn't have normally had a chance to talk about. So both me and Ian both have... I guess, do you prefer to go by Blinky, or do you prefer if I call you... Do you give a shit if I call you anything?
You can call me either. People have called me either. And they also call me, okay, fine, be that way. So it's
Which is a lot more...
whatever you want to call me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So...
yeah, you can call me Sir Douchebag if you want me.
Okay, so me and Sir Douchebag, we both have Letterboxd accounts, and we both like to keep a pretty regular watch on everything that we're watching. I started. You've been doing it for a really long time. I only started recently, and I think it's a lot easier for me to go back and look at everything I've watched. So I'm a big fan of it. And I thought it might be fun. One of the things I like to do is I'll go on Letterboxd, and I will just read. I just like to read recent reviews of what people think of movies and stuff. And you watch a lot more movies than I do. And I thought it might be fun to have a bit of a game. So I have, in the interest of keeping things as relevant as possible, I did a quick scan of the last month of your Letterboxd activity. And from those movies, I've picked out a couple of reviews. I would say about 3 reviews each from a couple of movies. Anything that you have put on your diary, basically. And I am going to read these reviews to you, and it will be your job to guess the movie that I am speaking about. So, top points if you can guess it after the first review, and you get less and less points as I give you more reviews. So there's 3 reviews total.
So just so we're clear, this is the stuff from August?
Yes, around that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so around the last 30 days. But yeah, so I thought I would do a little test pilot of this. So let me jump over to where I keep these reviews. All right, so let's start with a pretty well-known one. So first review is a 3.5-star review. And the review is just, need a cigarette after that. That's the full review.
Oh. Could it be Les Samurai?
No. No, that was not Les Samurai. I'll give you another review. This is a 4-star review. And it says, it's two words. It just says, "Where's horny?" with 6 question marks.
Where's horny?
Where's horny?
Oh, is that Gilda?
No, it is not Gilda. You fucking idiot. And last review is a 3.5-star review, and the review says, a Xanax could have solved this whole movie.
A Xanax could have solved this whole movie. Is it a confusion?
No, it's not a confusion. But it goes to show that this is pretty hard. These are all reviews for Inside Out 2.
That's not from August. That's from July. You fucking cheater.
What? No,
I was looking at the August movies.
Oh, you fucker. You're looking at your movies.
Yeah, that's something that I watched in July.
Oh, whatever.
That's something that I watched in July.
I said in the last 30 days.
No, I call bullshit. I did not lose that one. I was not... Okay, so let me know what month specifically we're going to do this in.
Oh, okay, so it's within the last 30 days. Listen.
I was just looking at the August movies.
Well, hold on. Okay. I can't check the same way you can. I can only see the last 30 days.
Actually, that's not... I watched Inside Out on the 23rd, and it's the 26th today, so that's not even 30 days.
Okay, listen. I got all the movies put together. Okay, so we don't... I got all the movies put together a couple of days ago. So yes, it was the first movie on the list, and I can only see 30 days of your watch history. And you're cheating. You can't look at your Letterboxd. You have to do it off memory. I know I didn't say that, but that's a new rule.
Well, I mean, I was going to have the multiple choice of my Letterboxd choices, but I'm not going to click on them to find out which reviews are from which one. That would be cheating.
Yes, okay.
But I don't think it's cheating to look at my Okay. So
fine.
We're going to say Inside Out 2. Everything from Inside Out 2 forward is eligible?
I would say yes. Yeah, within roughly the last 30 days.
All right, well... Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got something else for you. That was the first round, and it went swimmingly. I got a couple more for you. So here we're moving on to our next movie. This first review is a 3-star review. So this review reads: "It's sweet, but it's also funny as hell that the studio production team really thought these two weren't related. LOL."
Oh, that's the Raggedy Ann and Andy?
Yes, it is. It's Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy. I've never heard of this. How was that?
It was not that good. It was a Fleischer Brothers cartoon from like the 30s, so it's kind of more of a short film. Yeah, but the thing is about those reviews is like a lot of them, like Raggedy Ann and Andy, they do these different. Sometimes they're brother and sister, and sometimes they're like boyfriend girlfriend. So it depends on which portrayal you're watching.
Yeah,
what their relationship to each other is.
Yeah, I guess.
So I don't know.
I would imagine that most people are. I think the whole Raggedy Ann cinematic universe must be a pretty niche thing to be into. But I imagine that anyone who's familiar with Raggedy Ann and Andy are most likely basing it off of their relationship in Musical Adventure, because that's the one I see the most content for. So I must imagine that they must have just seen that and been like, "No, stop!"
And I even think of the books, the original books. I believe that they were also brother sister. So I think that that's consistent, but it's not always.
Oh yeah. All right.
Which that didn't make any sense. I think that's consistent, but not always. But anyway.
Yeah. Oh man, well, I'll have to check it out. Even though it's not that good, I'll have to. I'm always down for some Raggedy Ann stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's why I looked it up. There is actually a pretty good one called Raggedy Ann and Andy and the Pumpkin Who Couldn't Smile. I think that's what it's called.
Oh,
it's like a Halloween special.
Oh, cool.
And that's Chuck Jones. Yeah, it's a Chuck Jones cartoon.
Oh wow.
So they had a few Fleischer ones, and then I think they had a couple of Chuck Jones ones, and I think there's a Christmas one too, but I don't know if I've seen the Christmas one.
Wow.
But anyway.
Yeah.
It's for Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Ann. You're a raggedy head.
A Raggedy Ann head.
Also, I think a couple of these, I can't say, I took a couple of these, I wasn't sure if they were movies or shows, so a couple of these mixed in might be shows, so just keep that in mind as well.
Okay.
Okay, so the next movie. So this review is a 4-star review. This person really liked this movie, and they said, "Eat your heart out, Christopher Nolan, because this is how you make a movie that fucks with time and reality."
Time Masters?
No, not Time Masters. I knew you would guess that, though. That's why I chose this one.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Next review is another 4-star review. It says, "A lovely bit of depression to start the new year off right." Lovely bit of depression.
Anatomy of a Fall?
No. It's like, and this is the third review, and it says, "Amazing movie that I will never ever watch again." This one doesn't have a star rating, actually. And if you can't guess from that one, I have one more bonus review for you that might be able to piece it together if you remember all the characters.
Is it The Father?
It is The Father. The last review was just, "Man, fuck Paul." That was
Fair enough.
I watched that movie, I think shortly after it came out. That movie is brutal.
Yeah.
Like, such a sad movie. I don't think I could ever recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, it was a really dark one. I thought it was really good. Anthony Hopkins was great. I think that he maybe won an Oscar for it, but I don't really remember.
Yeah, no, it's hard to portray a movie like that with that sort of, I guess, premise, and really capture how scary and horrifying it is. It's a really, really amazing movie.
Yeah, there was that one movie with Julianne Moore. I think it was called Still Alice.
Yes.
And that was kind of like a take on
Alzheimer's.
Dementia, or Alzheimer's rather. And this one kind of reminded me of that, but I actually thought The Father was even better.
Yeah.
And I thought that Still Alice was really good too, but
yeah, Still Alice and it's both really good perspectives on two different like parental sides of a family. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I actually recently in theaters I watched It's Such a Beautiful Day.
Oh my god!
It was combined with Don Hertzfeldt's new short film called Me, which was also really good. Wow. And so I gotta say that's like the fourth or fifth time I've seen It's Such a Beautiful Day. It's one of my favorites.
I would say I've already.
You'd have to recommend that someday.
Yes. You know what? I was honestly thinking. I just today added that onto my list of recommendations. That's crazy. I was just rewatching old Don Hertzfeldt animations, and God, what a visionary!
My spoon is too big.
I don't think people talk about how he formed a whole lot of internet humor, but at the same time, he's just like a genius in terms of like showcasing what he's trying to, like the ideas he's trying to get across. He's really,
yeah.
I feel like
it's actually because he did he did one of those I guess preambles to the movie where he filmed himself.
Right.
Just saying that like the movie was being restored, and he says that he actually he has issues with It's Such a Beautiful Day, just in terms of going back. He changed some parts of it, and there's some parts he would change, but then so he's actually really humble about it, because he recognizes that movie connects with so many people, but he doesn't seem to have an ego about it at all.
Yeah, he's a really down to earth guy. I remember one time. Avery, my boyfriend, he posted about we had watched that movie, and he felt very seen by all the fears and inadequacies, and posted on Reddit about it. And then Don Hertzfeldt commented on that post about the movie and was like I know what you're going through, and it's oh my god, what a down to earth cool guy.
Yeah, it's amazing that he did that. I mean, maybe he'd comment on the fucking podcast if we released it.
Yeah.
Such a Beautiful Day. I doubt it, but but then again, maybe he would.
Yeah, maybe he would. You never know. Honestly, you never know unless you try. Okay, I have a couple more. Okay, first review. Such a messy and boring show, and I didn't even know what was going on most of the time. Plus, it confused me so much. Typical A24. That's a 2.5-star review.
Well, you said show, so I'm assuming that's The Curse.
Yeah, it's The Curse. Yeah, that's The Curse. The other one's
that's the only thing that I have logged on Letterboxd that's a show in the past month. Because it's a one-season show, even though I don't think it's supposed to be.
Well, you know what?
I think they're making a second season, or at least it was greenlit.
I thought I could get you, because one of the reviews I have here is exactly what I would expect from a guy who graduated from one of Canada's top business schools with really good grades. Because I saw you had watched Finding Francis, too. I thought I could trip you up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just watched through Nathan For You a few months ago, and absolutely loved it. And then I watched The Curse not too long after that, and I thought that was really good too. I still haven't seen The Rehearsal.
I haven't either.
I really like Nathan Fielder.
He's great. He's awesome. I should mention.
I was just gonna say that I remember. I wasn't sure who he was for a long time. I'd seen images of him, but then I was like, oh yeah, he was on John Benjamin as a Van.
Yeah.
Nathan Fielder, and that was basically the preamble to what would eventually become Nathan For You. So
that's yeah. Yeah. No, I knew about him from This Hour's 22 Minutes. He was on there for a while. And that he was
Yeah, I found those clips kind of recently.
Yeah. He's just a really naturally funny guy. Like I'm very it's good to share a name with someone so talented, honestly.
Yeah. Have you seen The Curse yet?
I haven't, but I've heard only good things. I love Emma Stone. I actually just finished watching Poor Things, just last night, and that movie's incredible too. So it's definitely on my list.
Yeah, Emma Stone is one where I've always liked her as an actress, but I think recently she's really gunning for like fucking all-time great status.
Oh yeah,
like she was so on the ball recently.
It's funny because what I remember her for is like a whole lot of like comedies. She was in Superbad,
like Superbad,
right? Yeah.
Easy A.
Superbad and Easy A, yeah. That's what I think of whenever I think of her, but now it's getting to the point where it's like kind of not thinking of her like that. She's really gunning for like her performance in Poor Things was incredible. I could talk for a really long time about that movie, but
I saw Yorgos Lanthimos' newest movie recently too, which was Kinds of Kindness, and that was really good too. That had Emma Stone in it as well as like Willem Dafoe and Jesse Plemons and a bunch of other really cool people. So
I also loved Willem Dafoe in that movie too. I could that he's Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, Yorgos Lanthimos is a great filmmaker.
Other than Emma Stone, I guess.
I need to see more of his films. I've only seen, I think right now it's just Poor Things and The Killing of the Sacred Deer. But they're all both really good.
Yeah, The Lobster was really good. The Favorite, Dogtooth, and I think those are the only ones. And other than the ones I just mentioned, but
right.
I think there's a few that he made back in. Where's he from again? Is he a Dutch filmmaker?
That sounds about right.
I'm blanking on that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember. Yeah, Dogtooth was in his native language because that was before he moved across the pond. But Dogtooth was probably his like breakout movie. Oh yeah, he was Greek. Sorry.
He's Greek.
Yeah. But yeah, Dogtooth was like his kind of like first international hit, and then he kind of came over here and started doing American movies. But he stayed as avant-garde as he ever has been. So.
Oh yeah, no, he doesn't pull any punches. It's really quite incredible. Tell you what, I got one.
Emma Stone's going to be in his next movie too. So nice.
Oh shit! What is that called?
And fuck! I just exited out of it. It's going to have Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons in it as well. So
I love Jesse Plemons. He was incredible in. I'm thinking of Ending Things. He was really good in Breaking Bad. He's awesome.
Yeah. He's great in a lot of stuff, actually. Like, a lot of the A24 stuff he's done. Fargo, Season 2, he was in that.
Yeah, Like Mike.
He was in Like Mike?
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta watch that. Okay. Yeah, no, it was when he was much younger, but I
it's
always
time for a Like Mike revisit.
Yeah. We're gonna be like Mike this summer. Jaden Smith is going to be like Mike. All right, we'll tell you what. Let me do one more, and then we'll hop over to our movie discussion.
Okay.
So here is our first review. First review. The most curious a movie has ever left me. Proof that quality of your tools cannot replace quality of concept and execution. Better than 90% of films shown in theaters today. That's a 5-star review.
Was that Les Samurai?
No, actually.
Okay.
Second review.
I think that was like the most acclaimed one.
Yeah.
On there, so that's why I guessed it.
So second review. This might give you more of a clue. Fuck you, Letterboxd. You're never taking this from me.
Oh, Emesis Blue.
Yes. It's your monthly turn. It's your monthly turn to re-review Emesis Blue because they keep removing it from Letterboxd for some reason, even though it's a film. I don't understand it. Like, is it?
I was actually at Cineplex the other day, and you know how like they can write their favorite movies on their name tag. One of them put Emesis Blue, and I was like, "That's a good choice, man." And so yeah, it's being recognized by Cineplex as a movie, but it is not being recognized by Letterboxd as a movie.
It's a damn shame because, for those of you who don't know, Emesis Blue is a movie taking place in the Team Fortress 2 universe, animated entirely in Source Filmmaker, I believe. And it's about as good as most movies that have come out like around the last couple of years. It's just a really incredible story, just utilizing these characters in a really unique and terrifying way. It's a really scary movie.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's really well done and really well made. And it's definitely a movie. They probably, if they ever get the rights, like Valve would probably be smart to actually screen it in certain parts.
Yeah, for real.
I think people would pay to see it too.
Yeah, no,
because we're getting to that point where like movies are going to be made in Unreal Engine and stuff like that, and with AI. So
yeah, which is I'm not looking forward to, but yeah, at this point it's really hard.
I am in some regards.
Oh, really?
It depends. Like, yeah, like could you imagine like when Daddy Derek makes a Cool Cat AI movie? How fucking insane that's going to be.
See, now you're speaking my language. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the people who don't have a voice to finally get that voice. I guess I'm not excited for movie studios to think that they can make movies like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I can say like there are specific situations where I will be excited for it, but it's not generally the case.
Yeah, not generally a great thing, but when Daddy Derek makes his Cool Cat AI movie, I will be front seat popcorn. I will go to a theater to watch that. All right. Well,
Cool Cat stops AI.
Cool Cat defeats the machines. Cool Cat overthrows the algorithm. Jeez. Well, that was my little trial run of my game. So I hope that was entertaining in some way. It's just sort of a way for us to talk a little bit about what we've watched. But yeah. Yeah,
we can do this again, possibly.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know about next episode because we'll have a guest, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I think first, you know what? I got one more review here. And it says, unrealistic film about a bookish new kid who intercedes in the tension between two rival street gangs, changing their lives in his literary way.
That would be The Beat.
The Beat. The Beat. The Beat. The Beat. The Beat. The Beat. The beat, the beat, the beat, the beat, the beat. Okay, that's enough of that. We are going to talk about The Beat. This was recommended, as I said last month, this is recommended by my mother. It's a movie that she watched when she was younger. I said she was a kid in the last episode. She wasn't a kid. She was like in her 20s. But it was she told me she would stay. I don't know the whole story, but she would stay at someone's house when she was in her 20s. And when she was there, they only had two movies, and one was Roadhouse, which is a good movie, and the other one was The Beat. And looking this movie up after she told me about it, I didn't really know what to think. It sort of seemed like something like almost like Freedom Writers or something like that, where the urban kids get their minds changed with learning and reading and they turn their lives around.
Sorry. Come here.
Oh, there's a puppy.
Sorry. Dog's being a bit... yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't have to worry about
Okay, anyway, continue.
I thought we didn't have a guest on this episode, Ian. Come on. You told...
Well, your puppy already interrupted us when we were setting up, so...
Oh, fair.
I'm just returning the favor.
Anyway, so I looked this movie up, and it's never had a DVD release. It's only ever released on VHS. And it said it was at Cannes Film Festival, where it didn't really make any waves. And when it hit theaters in the U.S., it made $5,000 back, and that's it. And then nobody has ever heard of this movie since. I go and I look online, and I try to find clips of this movie, and all I can find are the trailers. I really feel as if I am one of the few people who has watched this movie. And now you are, too.
And we're actually breaking new ground. We're breaking new ground by making this the first review of it on YouTube.
Yes, we are. This is the first. I don't think there's anyone else talking about it. So now you can go talk about it to your friends and say, what exactly, Ian? What did you think about this movie?
You can say that we beat them to the punch. That's what I thought you were going to go with.
Oh, no. No, I didn't even. Well, you have now, so that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, The Beat was a movie where, like, I didn't go into it expecting it to be very good, and it wasn't. But there is, like, a thing where it's like, this could be funny bad, or it could be, like, you know, just painfully bad. And what I found is that it was kind of neither. It was just kind of really bizarrely bad. Like, I couldn't stop watching it because it was just so weird and stupid. Yeah. And so this was like, it was a very interestingly bad movie. So I wouldn't call this like a must-see for people who are like, you know, bad movie connoisseurs that love to watch really bad ones and laugh at them. I wouldn't say it's that kind of bad, although it is kind of funny at certain points, but it's very intriguingly bad.
Yeah, it's almost like, while I was watching it, I was like, I understand that there is good things here, but how it's being shown and how it's being presented, it's like the ideas that they had were good, but the people making the movie were too inept in like most of the practices in this movie to actually like get that across. Like the whole movie is surrounded by like this idea of like imagination and poetry and stuff, but it doesn't seem very like the people who made it are very imaginative or know a whole lot about poetry or acting for that matter. It's like
to me it seemed like, I don't know, this guy who made the movie, Paul Mones. I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce it. I feel like he got a B+ on a poem that he wrote in first grade, and his parents put it on the refrigerator, and then that's what he used as the basis as an inspiration to make this movie. Yeah,
well, firstly, so it's really easy to talk about this movie because sometimes we watch movies like Love Exposure where it's like, to recap the plot would be asinine, but this is really simple. Basically, our main character is Rex. He has some sort of mental problem, and but me and my mother assumed that he was most likely he's probably autistic or something. But even
that's what I was thinking, that they were probably going for that, but they didn't know what autism was.
Yeah,
because they hadn't heard Chris Chan's song where he explains autism yet. So before that, nobody really knew what it was.
I didn't know what it was. He taught us all. I didn't until I watched Chris Chan's My Little Big Planet autism tutorial. I didn't even know what autism was, so it's hard to say. But like, even considering that, it's not really a great representation, and I understand that what they're going for is this is a 1987 version of autism, which is closer to, I guess, it's not all the way to riding the bus with my sister levels of humiliating performances. Like, he's just sort of shy.
I haven't seen that, but
Neither have I. I've only seen clips, but it's not that bad. But the problem is that nobody acts like a human being in this movie in general. So it's sort of weird to... It's hard to think about it as him being like this outsider who doesn't act like everyone else. It's like, everyone is crazy in this movie. So why is everyone judging him? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because like when I was watching this movie, I think a few days before it, I watched the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, Trap.
Yeah.
And when I was watching this, I was like, this is very much M. Night style dialogue where it just sounds like someone who hasn't even interacted with another human being before trying to make like a dialogue work. And it's just, yeah, and it doesn't really, when you have a character like that who's supposed to be weird and like have this kind of like disability in terms of like his ability to interact with others, you kind of need to have the other characters have an ability to actually interact with others to show that contrast. And this movie did not.
No, it didn't. I mentioned like freedom writers. Like, that's sort of what I imagined. Like you take all of these characters and you introduce them to this one person with a different outlook. That sort of changes how their world works. And considering it's in the same sort of place, you assume that you're going to be dealing with, like, troubled teenagers, bad home life, things like that. But you don't really get that. The only one who's having these issues is Rex. Like, all the other people seem to be dealing with their own stuff, or they don't really talk about that or have any issues like that. The movie is not about it. Like, in Freedom Writers, the class are the main characters. In this movie, it's just Rex. What we're talking about is a guy who will just walk up to people and be like, the dragons in the world are the fire of midnight will fall upon. It's like the most base middle school poems you've ever heard in your life, and it doesn't come off very authentic whenever he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's not that good at, and again, it just feels like there's a lot of good ideas in this movie, a lot of stuff that could work if you had well-defined characters, but it does not at all. Not a single one of these characters, we never even get to see like their home life or what their inner thoughts are like. We really just get
to me, because that was like a thing too, is this like Peanuts, where it's just like all the adults are not here and they're just wah wah wah, even though they have the teachers, I guess. But I mean, you never saw the home life of anybody in this like movie. And the thing is, too, like, a lot of the side characters are extremely interchangeable. They're just all, like, generic thug characters. Like, they're the type of, I don't know, generic, like, one-note villains you'd see in, like, a Grand Theft Auto mission or something like that. Like, it's there's not really a whole lot of depth or variety to them.
Yeah, there's, like, a couple of interchangeable, like, nobody kids. There's, like, the stoner guy. There's the really aggressive racist guy. There's the black guy that fights the aggressive racist guy. But we don't really know anything about them. And I couldn't tell you what their names are, either.
Because that's the whole thing, is, like, the opening scene where they're, like, being extremely racist towards the black guy. I'm like, oh, okay, is this going to, like, plant a seed for something where they have, like, a race kind of conflict in the movie? And they really don't. It's just like it's just like the kid's like black, and it was like it's not really making a statement or anything. Yeah, it's just showing you the racism.
It felt like they were going to go for that, and they do they do something. Like, there's a scene where, it's I guess implied that these kids are all part of, like, warring gangs in this high school, and it's like it never comes up. There's one scene where one of the kids gets a gun and starts shooting at nothing. Like, he hears a car alarm go off, and he just shoots 4 times, and that's it. And there's never any, like people get in, like, schoolyard fights, but if the stakes are incredibly low at all times, that's the thing.
Okay, another thing about the schoolyard fights, so, like, first off, I do not believe for 1 second that any of these actors were in high school. Yeah. I like, that was, like, and I know that's a common thing for, like, high school movies to have that complaint, but no, this was, like, particularly bad. Like, this was not convincing in the slightest. And the other thing is, like, I didn't go to high school in New York, but do they keep all the high school students, like, fenced in? Can you not leave the school premises on recess? Because that was not our experience in high school.
Yeah,
like, we could leave. Like, is that...
yeah.
Yeah, and so... Yeah, like, I could understand, like, in elementary school, especially in, like, the Bronx or something like that. Like, okay, that makes sense. Is a high school like that in the Bronx? Maybe they are, but, that's very strange to me.
Yeah, it just doesn't... It doesn't make sense. Like, anyway. So, we have this kid named Rex who joins this poetry... This, I guess it's a language class or, like, an English class, led by the teacher. The teacher who is Mr. Ellsworth, and he's
Mr. Ellsworth. Yes.
Yes, he's this really well-meaning.
And
teacher.
I have something to say.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
The premise of the movie on Letterboxd says a New York teacher indulges a mad high school student who sees himself as a mythical hero. What? Like that premise was so misleading because I don't, for one, I don't think he saw himself as a mythical hero, and two, that makes it sound like this movie's like primarily about the relationship between him and the high school teacher, which it was not.
Really wasn't. But it's weird. This high school teacher, this Mr. Ellsworth, he's played by John Savage, and he got, like, I think the poster for this movie, or like at least the VHS cover, has him like front and center, even though he doesn't even show up that much. And that's the thing, is that's a really weird.
And he wasn't particularly good either.
Yeah, exactly. Like. On Wikipedia, it just says, a new kid moves into a tough neighborhood controlled by gangs and tries to teach them poetry. Which is also a bad description, because that doesn't even scratch the surface of what he does. Like, yeah. So he's like bullied, right? So he's being bullied because he's weird, and they call him an arsler, a retard, whatever you want to say. I haven't decided. I'll cut out whichever one I decide with. Okay,
I thought you were going to say faggot, but
they do call him.
I think that you can use that word.
Yeah, I think
you can use that word. But yeah, that's your word.
That's my word. I could say retard too, but like, but anyway, he's basically beat up because he just talks nonsense at these people and calls it poetry, because that's what it is. It's nonsense. He's like. Talks about the moonlight shedding. It's like the most like, it's like AI generated poetry is what it feels like. It feels like it means nothing. It feels like it's totally hollow.
When I was doing the Game Dude blog readings, he wrote a poem for Alana, and that's what it reminded me of. Was the Alana poem?
Oh my god! Yeah, it does remind me of.
It's like I dream
poem.
Under the starry night.
But yeah, so eventually he befriends these two kids, Billy and his sister. I can't remember, Kate. And they are just sort of like. Initially, they're just hanging out with him because they're smoking weed on the beach, and they're like, "This guy's great. I love hanging out with this guy because he's always talking about some crazy shit, and he's really fun to hang out with when we're stoned." And that's like the long and short of it. But then there's a scene on the beach where he's raving like a madman. He's like, "We are free. We are the people. We will be the mutant outcasts of the world, and we are the only people left, and you are the beggar." And Billy's like, I'm the beggar? And he's like, yeah, you're the beggar. And you're the princess priestess. And Kate's like, I'm the princess priestess? And he goes, yeah. And they go, okay, we believe you and we will follow your every word for the rest of the movie now. Like, it is so strange. Like, there is no build up to how anyone... No, normally characters like this, you need to have them believably take over the status quo. So you've got a city and a school that is controlled by gang violence, is controlled by like fear, and the kids are all looked down upon by the teachers at the school. But at the moment that he introduces his crazy poetry to these people, they're like, man, maybe we can give peace a chance. It's like immediate. There's a scene where they take him onto a subway and a fight is about to start, and he's like, da beat, ba ba, and they're like, we will follow whatever you say. We will not be in gangs anymore, and actually, we love you now. And it's like, I think around the 45-minute mark of this movie, it just switches gears, and now everybody loves Rex. Everyone was like, we hate Rex, he's terrible. Now we love Rex, and now everyone loves poetry. And it feels like there was a missing scene, you know?
He's so rad, he's my real cool radical Rex.
Radical Rex!
My real cool radical Rex.
Radical Rex! Like, I just, there has to be some sort of progression. I don't believe that this guy is charming enough to basically amass, like, a cult following overnight and become, like, the de facto most popular kid at school.
Yeah, I don't know, like, with all that, like, in mind, I was kind of, like, is this a regular high school? Is this a high school for mentally challenged kids? Or is this a high school for, like, juvenile delinquents? Because I couldn't tell.
Yeah, they don't explain a whole lot about the situation. I didn't really understand what they were talking about like the gang wars and everything like that. They don't really go into detail. They just sort of assume that you know how gang wars work. It's like, no, I want to know more about that. I don't need to sit around with Rex watching him like spout whatever he's thinking. And
yeah,
but like at the same time, I think it's funny that you brought up M. Night Shyamalan, because I was going to compare it to like The Village or something, like something with what appears to be a pretty decent premise, marred by the fact that whoever's making it doesn't seem to really know what they're doing or how to do it in a correct way. But at the same time, there is something really charming about Rex that I found a lot of the time. He's obnoxious and it's over the top. But there's a part of me that really enjoyed whenever there was a scene with him, which is most of the movie. He was really fun sometimes, I guess. Like he you could tell he was trying to like. It was heartwarming to see people warm up to him. But again, that's about the best I could say about like the characters, because Billy and Kate and all the other people, they don't really have any character whatsoever other than like, I'm cool, I'm aggressive, I like heavy metal, like
yeah, it was very like base. And like personally, I didn't even find him like, I didn't find it that charming when he was like people were warming up to him, just because I thought it was so contrived and stupid. Like I thought it was like, there's no way that him just doing this would automatically make them, be on his side. And then, they start to like form a band together when they go into a punk show. And then it's just like, oh, there's a new talent show coming up for the school. Because, that's what a bunch of gang of thugs are going to be interested in, is winning a talent show at a fucking school.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
It feels like the events in the story happen so that Rex can be the catalyst to like make people care about them. It's like in any other situation, he would have had to convince them, but like in the script, it just feels like it was written like Rex then convinces them to be in the talent show, and that's it. And like, okay, so then there's the other plot that's happening with the Mr. Ellsworth and the other teacher, who is just like an asshole. Like, there's a scene where the teacher is like teaching symbolism and like with sounds and sights and stuff like that, and Rex just keeps going like, you got fart pants, you got farts in your pants, and it's like, okay, and now he hates him and he wants him kicked out of school.
Which, okay, like, have you seen any other kid in your class? Like, literally all of them.
Yeah,
like,
literally everyone.
The entire class is just full of people who do not respect the teacher, who are always, like, ripping on them, and, you know, they're just these horrible, you know, fucking bratty kids, and then all of a sudden you get this one who's, like, autistic, I guess, or I don't even know, and then all of a sudden you single it on him as, like, oh, he shouldn't be in the school, because, you know, he's dumb and, you know, rebellious. It's like, you know, totally unlike every other kid in the class.
Yeah, like, everyone is like that. He was, honestly, that what that scene told me is that this is him being more accepted by the people, because he acts more like everyone else, and everyone else is laughing at him. But that doesn't really happen. Like, he doesn't earn their admiration by acting like them. He earns their admiration by acting weird and different. So it's like, why did this scene even happen? Why did he act like that? And he has this hatred for this teacher that I don't really understand. I think it's because the teacher doesn't like him, but I don't know how he knows that, because the teacher, this guy, this other teacher, not the homeroom teacher, the poetry teacher, but this other teacher is always talking about him and that the principal, like, we need to get him removed from this school. He needs therapy. And, like, I don't know why they hate each other so much, because he barely deals with him. Like, why is he all up in his business? I don't know how public schools work, but I'm pretty sure that other teachers can't go into other people's classes and be like, I want this child taken out of school and put in a mental institution. It's like, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, it's, and again, you know, all the fucking kids should be put in fucking juvenile hall or something like that. Like, they're not, like, there's no reason to single out Rex as a teacher. As a student, okay, yeah, I guess he's different, but as a teacher, there's no fucking universe where that makes sense.
Yeah, for real.
And because especially from the sense that it was like, I think that they were trying to play him off as like a villain, I guess, but you know, like, it doesn't even really explain the motivations of why, as a villain, it would make sense.
Yeah, you can't just
like,
make a character.
There is no motivation.
Yeah, there's no motivation. That's what I'm saying. You can't just make a character hate somebody because he called you a fart pants in front of the school. That's like Captain Underpants type, like character development.
It's like that Family Guy joke where, like, this kid is, like, insulting Peter over and over, and then he's just like, at the end, you're a poop nose, and then Peter beats him up. Like, that's what it was like.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
So while this is happening, Rex is sort of amassing this cult, and it gets a little weird there for a little bit, where he's like, basically, he really does feel like he's stuck in this, like, fantasy world, where he's viewing the world like how he sees it, and everyone else is just sort of going along with it, which is like, I guess that's fine.
Which emulates the experience of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what does that have to say about what the movie has to say about that subject? Like, it doesn't make sense. So they eventually form this group called the Mutants of Sound, and they're going to rock the talent show after they go to a metal show. I don't know why the metal show happened in the middle. It was very loud, and it was very... I honestly, the way he was acting at the heavy metal show was very accurate to how someone lower on the spectrum would act at something like that. So I think that's pretty exemplary for... They probably were going for like a learning disability, autism, something like that. Because... Well,
I will say this about the metal show... Because I looked this up after the movie. The band that was playing Iron Skulls, which was what they were watching, is actually a band called Cro-Mags.
Yeah.
It's a real band, and they still make music to this day. And, like, their most recent album came out in 2020, and it got, like, really good reviews. So, I mean, I guess this was a vehicle for them. That's why they had their like metal show. I don't know if they were helping produce the movie or something. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, the music that they were playing was like not that bad. It wasn't necessarily the type of music that I go out of my way to listen to, but for what it was, like I thought it was decent. But it was just weird how they, because I don't know, like you can't even say it's really promoting the band because they used a different name for the band. They called them the Iron Skulls.
Which
So
I don't understand.
I don't understand what the point of any of that was.
Yeah, like why change the name of the band when you're gonna wear merch of your own band, like in the movie? Like they're all wearing Cro-Mag shirts and it's on the drum kit. It's like I don't understand. If you're gonna be a different band, why not? Whatever. But essentially, this other teacher convinces Rex to come in for like a therapy session, and essentially one of the funnier scenes in the movie when you're watching it again happens where Rex just has like a full meltdown in this teacher's office, just like knocking shit over, and other than the fact that he has to be there, it doesn't seem really warranted. He just like knocks things over and he wrestles with the teacher, and it's like you're not really helping your case. Clearly this teacher wants to get you out of this school, and I don't know why you went forward with this. And to be fair, Rex is, again, a character that's supposed to be not 100% neurotypical, which is fine. But, like, that's not a reason why you can just make your characters do whatever you want to serve the plot. Like, clearly it was like in the script it was like he goes in the outline, it was like he goes to this therapy appointment and he has a bad time and the teacher hates him, so they kick him out of school. But like what exactly happened was never really specific. It was just he had a big temper tantrum.
Yeah, and I mean there's a right way to do that and a wrong way to do that, and they could have like not shown the temper tantrum and that would have been okay. But the fact that we just don't really get much of a context for anything in this movie, including the ending, which was,
Yeah, kind of a wild ending. So basically, what happens is he's kicked out of school and he runs away, but they still have to do the show, so they go without Rex because Rex doesn't want to come because he's too scared. And it goes off without a hitch, and they do their bad poetry, where it's like, wheels in the night, turning slowly. I turn to the moon, and I gasp. Is that there? No, it was never there. And just like that, like, leading into the beat, ba-ba, the beat, ba-ba. And...
Ba-ba.
And... and my mother says that that's the only thing she remembered from that movie. Like, she recommended this movie, remembering only that she did not like it, and the beat, ba-ba. And when they go to look for Rex, he appears to have killed himself, which is not how I expected it. But I guess they make it like vague. So it's like, what do you think happened to Rex? And it's like not a whole lot. I
think that what they were implying was that like it was like a Mary Poppins thing where he just kind of like disappeared and like went off and went to another town and started teaching them about the ways of the beat.
Yeah, and like that makes sense. It's like they changed they came together as a community and now everyone's friends. And I like the idea of a character who sort of shows up in characters' times of need, like a Mary Poppins type, and sort of helps them, does what they need to do, gives them the tools they need to change their lives, and then just sort of goes upon their merry way. But, like, nothing really implied, except for the fact that, like, there's the fact that we never see Rex's family or his home, but we never really know what his background or his deal is. To think that he's like a almost a mythical type character makes it a little bit more interesting, but it's really jarring to imply that. So the immediate thought is that he killed himself, and that's what everyone thinks. And but then it's just like, nah, he's probably riding on sharks right now. And they're like, you're right. And and then they all go off. And they're like, yeah, da beat. And he...
Which, are there sharks in the New York harbor, by the way?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
They find a shark earlier in the movie, and it's just sort of flopping around in the shallows, and then it disappears. Which is like, okay, well, is this all like a psychosomatic thing that they're going through? It's a really strange direction that they went with it. I did not expect this sort of pseudo-mythical explanation for Rex and how he acts. But it almost makes it, the second watch, a little bit better when you consider that he's like sort of this like almost like some sort of deity of poetry that's just coming to like shake their lives up. It almost makes it a little bit more interesting, but taken at face value that Rex is just a mentally ill person, it's like there's just not a lot to go on. It makes it, if he's an ordinary person, then he's most likely gone, and that's a sad ending.
Yeah.
So I like to think that it's it's a better. It's in this movie's favor that I assume that he sort of takes on more of a mythical quality than a realistic teenager going to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can think of a movie that kind of did the same thing better. I don't want to say the name because it would spoil the movie, but like there is a movie that I'm thinking of where you think like a character is this kind of like one way, and then at the end it kind of reveals itself as like, oh, maybe there was a lot more to it than that. And so yeah, I could see what this movie was trying to do in that regard, but yeah, I don't think it really accomplished it.
Yeah, no, and that's the problem. That's the main issue with this movie, is it's got a lot of good ideas. It's got a lot of, it's not like anything groundbreaking, but it's got a lot of good, it's got good bones.
Yeah.
Again, in terms of directing and acting and writing, everything else falls short. Its base premise is pretty good, but the actual way that they go forward and show that, it just doesn't work. Like their lives are supposed to be changed by poetry, but neither them nor the poetry guy know poetry well enough to like make that believable. Like if you brought like a really great poet on and like had them write something, like and they read that poem, that would be something really life-changing. But no, there's a scene where Billy, the other kid, his friend, reads a poem in front of the class, and it's just like your run-of-the-mill middle school shit. But the teacher is like, "Wow, Billy, that was so incredible. I've never heard a poem like that in my entire life. Billy, will you read it again for us? Because we're all just so..." Like, they ham it up too much.
Play it again, Sam. Play it.
Yeah. Like...
Well, yeah, and you know what? I believe it was probably better than any of the poems that the other thug characters were writing, but that's probably not saying much. So
school is bad, and I am rad. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. And I get it. Like I guess this is another thing I thought about, is I was thinking about this movie, and it's like, what I don't like about this movie is not in its base premise. It's in the fact that the person making it is not well versed in the medium enough to make it believable. But like at the same time, the movie is really telling you that poetry, it doesn't have to be something good or even not bad. It just needs to be like something that you use to express yourself. And I guess that's exactly what this movie is. So am I going against what the movie says about the medium, or I don't know. It's an interesting question, which made me think enough to bump it up about a half a star. But like, I think I'd watch this movie again, because again, I love weird shit like this where someone presents stuff in a really weird and obtuse, bizarre way, and so I kind of like that about this movie.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, maybe I'd go revisit it again one day. As far as like bad movies or even weird bad movies go, I mean, it's not painful or anything, but I can also find more entertaining watches in those categories.
Oh
And
yeah.
this was the first movie from Paul Moniz. I don't even know Mons.
Moniz?
I don't know.
Maybe? I don't know.
Mona's Pizza. But anyway, he made two other movies after this called.
Oh.
One was called Father and Sons, and the other was called Saints and Sinners. And those two movies, just like The Beat, nobody has seen them, and the few people who have seen them haven't rated them very highly. So I don't think that his career really got too far, unfortunately for him. But if he got this out in Cannes, I mean, good for him, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what requirements it takes to get into Cannes, but I can't imagine that it's the easiest film festival in the world to be accepted into.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, there must have been something worth putting this movie in. But, like, it's weird because, again, this is a movie that's sort of just been lost to time. Nobody really talks about it. And I think we're the first ones to really talk about it on YouTube. And which isn't great because we're saying bad things. But, like, I want to say that if any of
But
this...
I mean, I do kind of recommend it.
I do. Yeah, that's the main thing is considering how unknown this movie is, I would recommend that you watch this because I think that a lot of people who watch this could take something a lot better away from this. Some people who are M. Night Shyamalan fans or something. People who don't mind the hokey performances and the weird dialogue, and sometimes that brings you more into it.
But see, like, that's the thing, too. It's like with M. Night Shyamalan is a good example of, like, okay, he's not the greatest filmmaker in the world, but, his movies are so bizarre and out there that, like, every time he makes a new one, I'm always at the theater.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's just like this thing where, even comparing something like Trap to The Beat, I would probably rather watch Trap because it's so just strange and
And bizarre.
entertaining, and I would say even like it has like really good conceptual things, even more so than something like The Beat. But yeah, I still kind of recommend The Beat as just like a weird curiosity, but I would say this is not the type of movie where I'd recommend somebody pay for it to go see it, but I would
Yeah.
recommend if you can find it on Tubi or something, if you can find it on VHS for like $1, then go ahead. Why
Yeah.
not?
It's not going to hurt anybody. It's just the beat. The beat. The beat.
Yeah. Unless you have a problem with like racial slurs or
There's a lot of those.
homophobic slurs or
Yeah.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's not saying it's a good thing, these like slurs or anything like that, but it is in the movie if that's
Yeah.
something.
So be aware of
That's
that.
the only way I can find this movie as being offensive in any way, shape, or form. Other than that, it's just kind of dumb.
Yeah. It's dumb, but it means very well. And I really like movies that can be that can be dumb, but also be. I guess at the end it felt genuine in this ending where it was like, well, everyone's problems have been solved by poetry, and we're all feeling a whole lot better, and it felt good at the end, even though it sort of alluded to something dark. It sort of ends with with something lighthearted, and I guess I like that. I like a feel good movie. And this is that. It's just really weird. And if you're going to watch it, I would say remember that going in. It's very strange. It has some very weird portrayals of mental illness. And other than that, I would say I actually watched this with my mother. And I think that the best thing about this movie is me and my mother were both laughing along to it, and I think I had a better time watching it with my mother than watching the movie in general. So that's what I'd say. I'd say watch this movie with your mother. That's my recommendation.
Okay, that's a fair recommendation. I mean, I watched it alone, so maybe that's why I had like a bit of a lower rating than you did. But even so, it's yeah.
Well, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's a good experience.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't really. There's nothing to dread here if you're interested in checking it out.
Yeah, it's not Apollo 18. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's Apollo 18 was like one of those movies forgotten to time that you could really I could never really find any merit in it.
Yeah,
Other
it's one of
than
those.
I don't know.
I guess it's a movie
Just
that
talking about it on a
deserves to
podcast, I guess.
be. Yeah, it's a movie that deserves to be lost to time. Unlike this, which has some, as small as they are, really good things about it. Every once in a while, and I think that's worth preserving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just gonna look through my notes to see if there's anything else I want to say.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't think so.
Yeah, that's fine. It could be a short one. That's we don't really have a.
Oh, the freaking
What?
the doctor's name was Dr. Waxman. That stood out to me. I wrote that down. That was funny.
That's a funny name for a doctor.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna end. I think I'm gonna end it on that. The doctor's name was Dr. Waxman. That's all you really need to know.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. The beat. So
Okay.
Lami Laki Sama.
The beat. Baba. Wicka wicka wah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Short one this time, guys. But we've been, you know what? We've been really killing it with the long-form content. So, I thought we'd let you guys take a little break. You don't have to listen to a 2-hour-long podcast. Yeah. You got stuff to do.
Yeah, exactly. And you got our other podcasts to listen to. And you got the beat to watch.
You got the beat to watch.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to choose your time wisely.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway, I guess we'll wrap things up.
Yeah.
With a guest and the recommendation that the guest chose.
Yeah. So yeah, apparently Ian has a guest for us and a new movie, so I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll give you a little bit of background. So, I started working on a video regarding a content creator that Nathan and I used to watch when we were younger. And when I was doing the video, I was like, I wonder if I could reach out to him and get him to do an interview. And so I did, and he politely declined, but he said that his brother, who's in a lot of his videos, would be totally down for that. So I had an interview with his brother, and I asked him if he would want to be on this podcast, and he said yes. So I'm happy to announce that the guest for next episode is Gabriel Warren, better known by his online alias Stand-In Stan.
Oh, shut up! That's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to get Stand-In Stan on next time. So, and for the movie that he wanted us to watch, he decided to pick something that his brother Confused Matthew reviewed.
Oh,
and
wow.
So next time we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Oh,
so,
boy. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to say anything yet, but I have things to say about this movie. So I am very excited.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I feel like we're going to get some, like, Confused Matthew, like 2008-9 Confused Matthew energy in here, because I'm pretty sure that Stand-In Stan agreed with Confused Matthew on the prequels.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I'm really excited to watch that. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sure you won't have any trouble finding it. It's from a little-known series called Star Wars. If you want to watch the other ones, those ones are pretty good, too. And you can probably find it on... Yeah, anywhere. You could go to a store, you'll probably find a DVD of it.
Yeah, if they sell... I mean, I'm pretty sure... You can watch them on Disney Plus. I don't know if there's like any sort of like fucked up thing about them, but I mean, it's the prequel, so who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit? Like yeah, they were already fucked up. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, one thing I wanted to say is I have a couple of things before we get everything all sorted away and we finish up. I liked getting. I know that it was just from my mother, but I liked getting feedback on the show, and I liked getting recommendations. So, if you are a one of our loyal listeners or subscribers, I have just created a email that we are going to be using for if you guys have any questions, any sort of recommendations for movies, anything like that. Feel free to send us an email over at unrealisticelephantpodcast@gmail.com. That'll be the home for how you can contact us. If you want to ask us any questions, anything about the show, that would be great. And the last thing I wanted to say is this actually, we didn't really have a whole lot planned for it, but this is actually the 1 year anniversary. I guess by the time this episode comes out, it will be a couple of days. But by the time the next episode comes out, this show will have been going for a whole year now. And I just wanted to say that thank you so much for listening for a year. I know that when you if you go take a look at our channel and the videos on it, you can see that we're not exactly breaking any YouTube view records or anything like that. But this started as, well, me and Ian have known each other for a really long time, and we've known each other since kindergarten, and it's really hard to stay connected as adults. And I guess I'm just really happy to be doing...
Because I live on the other side of the country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I live on... We live about as far as we could be for living in the same country. And yeah. I started this podcast because I wanted to have something to do with one of my best friends in the world. And I'm just really happy I can continue to do it. So I just want to thank you, Ian, for keeping up with this podcast with me. And I'm hoping for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of this, because I love doing it. No matter how many views we get or what people think of it, I'm going to keep working my ass off on it, and I love doing it. So thank you so much for listening for a year.
Yeah, and I would agree. I mean, I really enjoy doing the podcast. It is kind of easier content for me to do compared to like my regular stuff on OK Find Me That Way. But it's a lot of fun, and no matter how few views we get, no matter how many disgruntled ex-editors on my channel want to complain about it, I'm still going to keep doing it. And thank you all, except for one person who can go fuck himself. And the Unrealistic Elephant podcast can live on.
It trundles on.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
all right.
Yeah, and it's been a pleasure doing it with Nathan, and it's cool to get people like Brandon and Eddie and Jason and Gabriel next episode, and hopefully many more.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
God, that is that I'm gobsmacked right now. I am very excited. How about you hit me with the...
I assume you're going to have a lot of stand questions next time, so...
Yeah.
I already asked them during the interview I had, but...
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, with that new email, unrealisticelephantpodcast at gmail.com, I don't know how many people are listening or interested, but if you have any questions for Stand and Stan, feel free to send them, and if we get any, I'll ask them. That's community right there.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's what you call community, more so than what Paul Moniz did for The Beat with all these different rival gangs.
You are now officially a community.
Yeah, exactly. You've been christened a community.
Yeah. All right.
And I guess other than that, subscribe. Go to OK Find Me That Way and subscribe and donate or do something. I don't know. Just do your thing. I don't want to do the whole outro anymore. It's fucking boring.
Yeah, it's fine. Subscribe,
but thank you.
Like the video. Thank you. Thank you all for everything that you do. And we're planning on going for another year. So let's make it another one. One more ride.
Yeah. Another ride around the sun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
All right. Well.
All right. Well.
Okay, well, adios.
Yeah. See you guys later. The beat, ba ba, the beat, ba ba, the beat, ba ba. You're not joining in. The beat,
Ba, ba.